Oh, hi there, guys. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about HS2 and the recent news that it's going to be delayed now beyond 2033. So let's have a little look here then. Britain's new high-speed rail line, HS2, which will connect London to the central English city of Birmingham, will be delayed beyond the 2033 opening date previously targeted. The project has been beset by cost overruns and delays since it was approved in 2012. 2 years ago, its ballooning budget forced the previous government to cancel the northern half of the project between Birmingham and Manchester. Originally expected to open by 2026 and cost £33 billion, its cost has since spiralled to an estimated bill of over £100 billion. I'm not going to go into any more detail about the rest of that story because it's self-explanatory. But I wanted to focus now on what this tells us about the UK in 2025. Time and again, we see these huge cost overruns with our infrastructure projects. If you look at just some of the projects going on at the moment and some that have been recently concluded, Houses of Parliament refurbishment, NHS digitalisation, the Lower Thames crossing, Crossrail, the list goes on, all of them over budget and delayed. But the question then is, why does that keep happening? And I think the simple answer is that when you're a large contractor in this country and you've got a sizable contract with the government, you know that there are just going to be no consequences to going beyond your budget. It was particularly the case under the Tories, but also under the coalition New Labour. There are no consequences for going over budget and over time. But then I want to talk also a little bit about the wider point here, and that is that these large infrastructure companies and private contractors who do the work, they effectively own our politics. They donate huge sums of money to our political parties. So firstly, they then get awarded these, massive infrastructure contracts. And then secondly, there's absolutely no pushback when they go massively over budget. And apparently in the last 20 years, the construction and housing industry have donated over £40 million to our political parties. They're not doing that out of the goodness of their heart, are they? And that number doesn't even include individual donors. And then that brings me to sunny point number 2 on this topic. In Rachel Reeves' spending review last week, she committed huge sums of money to capital infrastructure spending, whereas day-to-day spending, so spending on stuff like education, prisons, local government, that got relatively little comparatively. And I think it's worth interrogating why that is. I suspect that, by committing to such lavish infrastructure spending, she's effectively just keeping the infrastructure gravy train going for the foreseeable future. So, for companies like Taylor Wimpey, Persimmon, Balfour Beatty, Costain, Lang O'Rourke, all of those companies and many more besides, they're going to be rubbing their hands together with glee that they've got this guaranteed income stream for years ahead. And now, they can move forward safe in the knowledge that, their futures are secure, their executives can continue getting massive bonuses, and with the absolute certainty that if their transport or housing infrastructure projects go way over budget, well, there's nothing to worry about. You can just go back with your begging bowl to the relevant minister and they'll sign you off. We give benefit claimants a tough time in this country, but it seems to me that these are the real scroungers and takers in our society. It's thoroughly depressing all round, really. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.